The evolution of war is a journey through human history, reflecting changes in technology, politics, society, and ideology. War has been a constant companion of civilization, but its methods, motivations, and consequences have dramatically transformed over millennia. In its earliest forms, war was largely tribal. Small groups of people fought for survival, resources, and territory. Weapons were rudimentary: stones, spears, and primitive bows. Battles were often personal, involving close combat, where warriors fought not just for victory, but for honor, revenge, or prestige. The ancient world saw the rise of larger organized armies as civilizations like Mesopotamia, Egypt, and China advanced. By the time of the Greek city-states, military tactics and formations like the phalanx began to formalize warfare. War became an extension of politics, as seen in the conflicts between Athens and Sparta, or later during the expansion of the Roman Empire. Rome, in particular, perfected war as a means of conquest and control. Its legions were highly trained and disciplined, relying on superior organization and infrastructure to dominate vast territories. The Roman Empire demonstrated how military power could build a vast political and cultural entity, but also how internal decay and external pressure could lead to collapse. In the medieval period, the nature of war shifted again, especially in Europe. Feudalism brought a more decentralized form of warfare, with local lords defending their territories with castles and small armies of knights. Armor and cavalry dominated the battlefield. This period saw the emergence of chivalry, a code that blended military prowess with a sense of moral duty. Although in practice, war was still brutal and unforgiving. Religion also played a significant role, especially in conflicts like the Crusades. The idea of holy war, where violence was justified by divine will, mobilized entire populations and shaped the medieval mindset. Outside Europe, the Mongol conquests of the 13th century showcased a new form of warfare, highly mobile, rapid, and devastating. The Mongols used psychological warfare and superior tactics to conquer vast territories across Asia and into Europe. The introduction of gunpowder in the late medieval period transformed warfare yet again. Cannons rendered castle walls obsolete, while firearms began to replace swords and bows. The battlefield became deadlier, with the power of armies increasingly determined by their technological edge rather than individual heroism. In the 16th and 17th centuries, European states developed standing armies and professionalized military structures, leading to more organized and destructive wars. This period also saw the rise of total war, where entire societies became involved in conflict. The 30 Years' War, from 1618 to 1648, devastated large parts of Europe, driven by both political and religious motives. War was no longer the pursuit of individual lords, but of centralized states, which could muster vast resources and populations in the pursuit of their goals. The 19th century introduced a new phase in the evolution of war, driven by the Industrial Revolution. Armies could now be equipped with mass-produced weapons, and railways could transport troops and supplies over long distances quickly. The American Civil War and the Franco-Prussian War highlighted the new scale and destructiveness of industrialized conflict. World War I is often considered the first truly modern war, where mechanized slaughter on an industrial scale became a reality. Trenches, machine guns, tanks, and chemical weapons created a stalemate that killed millions. The old romantic notions of war were shattered as soldiers experienced the horrors of mass death and destruction. World War II built on these developments, bringing global conflict to an even greater level of intensity. The war was fought not only with conventional weapons, but also with airplanes, submarines, and ultimately, nuclear bombs. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945 introduced the world to the terrifying potential of nuclear warfare, where humanity's very existence could be at risk. Following World War II, the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union ushered in an era of indirect conflict. Though both superpowers avoided direct confrontation due to the threat of mutual nuclear annihilation, they fought proxy wars through allies and client states. Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan became battlegrounds where larger ideological struggles played out. This period also saw the rise of guerrilla warfare, as smaller, less equipped forces could challenge larger powers using hit-and-run tactics and local knowledge. At the same time, technological advancements such as missiles, satellites, and cyber capabilities transformed the battlefield. War was no longer confined to the physical domain, but expanded into space and the digital realm. Intelligence gathering, psychological operations, and economic warfare became critical components of conflict. In the 21st century, war has continued to evolve. Traditional state-on-state warfare has become less common, replaced by asymmetrical conflicts where insurgent groups, terrorists, or non-state actors challenge conventional military forces. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan demonstrated the difficulties of defeating guerrilla tactics and securing lasting peace in regions with complex political and cultural landscapes. Technology has advanced at an unprecedented pace, leading to the rise of drones, cyber warfare, and artificial intelligence on the battlefield. Remote-controlled weapons and unmanned systems allow nations to wage war without risking their soldiers' lives directly, while cyber attacks can disrupt entire economies and critical infrastructure. At the same time, the threat of nuclear war remains a dark shadow over global politics. The concept of mutually assured destruction continues to prevent large-scale conflict between nuclear powers, but tensions remain high in regions like East Asia, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East. War, in all its forms, has always been a reflection of the societies that wage it. As technology continues to advance and global politics shift, the nature of war will likely evolve further. Future conflicts may be fought in cyberspace or with autonomous weapons, but they will remain tied to human ambitions, fears, and rivalries. Whether war will ever truly end is uncertain, but its evolution shows how deeply it is intertwined with the human condition.